Every story has got a power. The power to shift past, present and future. There were stories whose power exceeded our words. Those were dreaded, loathed and hurled into the depths of abyss.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today on a new episode of In the Mist, the series where I talk about a game I'm in the midst of playing and the impression it gives off. The game I'm showcasing today is The Librarian. It's developed by a company called the Librarian MCV, I think. I'm not fully sure. It was released on the 29th of October 2016, and I am currently playing it on PC. This is a bit weird because I don't think I've ever really found a full-blown game released on Game Jolt that wasn't like a prototype or a demo or a really short game. But the information provided for this game was a bit cryptic, or at least it seems so to me. And as far as I can tell, it's a fantasy adventure platforming game with problem solving, puzzles, and enemies to confront. The game does have a story, and basically that revolves around the fact that there's basically stories that are more powerful than their words, and they had to be locked away in a place called the Great Library. The library is guarded by a lineage of kinsmen called keepers who kept the place a secret. Unfortunately, the last keeper died, which leaves his grandson to take over. The power that's locked away escapes the keeper and creates a whole lot of chaos. The young keeper then has to go on an adventure to restore order in the Great Library. So far, I found the story pretty interesting. I like the concept, and I like the whole book characters coming to life thing they got going on. It's definitely something different and has kept me wanting to know more. The narrator interacts with the player as well, especially if you stop playing. Like, he'll start trying to egg you on and pointing out that you need to do something to push the story along, which I thought was a really nice touch.
Hello? The stories do not write themselves.
The game does have a few features that I found. There's puzzles, platforming, and tense moments. You've got this Sherlock vision thing, which lets you see objects that you can interact with that are otherwise unclear to your normal human vision, I guess. The book that you get your powers from gives you powers based on characters from books. You can change into forms as well. An example of this would be the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. You can turn into the rabbit and you get the ability to double jump and slow down time. So it was really nice. I like how they sort of incorporated that into the game. I'm playing with a controller, but it works with the keyboard and mouse too. The gameplay does have some issues. The character's movement feels a bit sluggish and clunky. It seems like they have to stop to turn around, so it's not very fluid. Camera movements are also off. They're either too fast or too slow, even when tweaking options. There's automatically adjusting camera angles during certain points of the game that need to go. I've always hated those in games because they make things unnecessarily difficult. So far my experience has been somewhat immersive, but hindered by a lot of the gameplay issues I stated above. But I think I'll keep playing it. I did think checkpoints were a bit harsh. They reset you back to the start of an entire area at times. I encountered a lot of platforming, puzzles, and quick time events, none of which were too difficult or mundane either. The game has some really good gameplay mechanics that complement the story really well. I liked one scene in particular where you had to jump into this giant rabbit hole and you were falling and there's these obstacles you had to dodge. It was sort of unexpected for this type of game, but I absolutely loved it. It seems like a really good family-friendly adventure game that'll provide a fair bit of fun. It also seems like there's a good amount of content in the game as well. Now the visuals and art styles are good. It's not doing anything super unique, but the visuals complement the game really well. Brings a fair bit of nostalgia with it. It incorporates story and you can visually see that. One thing I liked was that when playing as the rabbit, he looked kind of like paper, which sort of emphasizes that he's come right out of a book. I actually don't think it really had much of an issue with the visuals at all. The game performs as well as I expected, if not better. Voice acting is really good in terms of giving the narrator personality. The narrator is a bit difficult to hear because the music seems to be a bit overbearing at times. They also have a filter on the narrator's voice, which makes it a bit harder to hear as well. Sound effects are okay, but do need some work. It seems to struggle to project audio to the correct speakers, because I'm using a 5.1 surround sound system, and when I move an object in front of me, the sound effect only comes out of the rear speakers, and it's not just this particular action. A lot of sound effects can be a bit difficult to hear because they're not coming out of the correct speakers at times. Otherwise, they had some good audio feedback for jumping, walking, attacking, etc. if you can hear them. The music is great. It gives a bit of a Harry Potter vibe, which I really liked. But this works really well in the game's favour, considering it's a fantasy game and involves fantasy books sort of coming to life. Kinda brings you back to those old school kids games. It also changes to suit situations in the game pretty well. The user interface is actually very clean, it's very easy to understand and simple. It's also incorporated into the game well. You just have pages flying out of a book as your health bar, and then a little blue bar underneath as the amount of magic you can use. Options menu is more diverse than I expected, surprisingly diverse. It does need more options though, but being a game that doesn't look like it requires a lot of resources to run, the video options don't need to be heavily in-depth, but the more options they have, the better. It also needs some more audio options like music, sound effects, and voiceover. I would have liked to have been able to control that sort of stuff. There needs to be a separate sensitivity for normal camera and aiming camera. Right now there's only one, and I have the sensitivity high for the normal camera, but this makes the aiming camera extremely sensitive, and obviously you see where the problem arises. You can't really play with the two. Mind you, this game is free at the moment on GameTroll, which can go one of two ways. It's good for the consumer because it's free, but it's bad for the developers because it costs time and money to improve, and the game does need a fair bit of improvement in the gameplay area. Otherwise, there is no reason to be on the fence about trying this though. It's free, so I'd recommend giving it a shot for yourself. I would not be showcasing it if I wouldn't recommend it. Links will be in the description for you to download the game. There's more information, so go and check it out. If you like what you've seen for the game, share any information you can about it with your friends, family, washing machines, or more. I think it really helped the developers out. It really helped me out if you wanted to share the video around as well, but that's up to you. And I'd just like to thank the Librarian MCV. I would also like to apologize if that isn't the company name. It's all I've really got to work with. I'd also like to thank GameJolt for featuring this game, and each and every one of you for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please let me know in the comments below, or let me know what you thought of this game as well, if this is your cup of tea. And as usual, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video.